Hi artist, I hope you're doing well. This week we are going to be doing some art that is related to hearts because Valentine's Day is coming up and we want our hallways to be ready, so we have to do them a little bit early, just like Christmas. So we're going to go ahead and you can go ahead and get out some materials that you'll need. You will need a piece of paper. You will need some paints or some crayons. It's up to you. And you will also need a toilet paper roll, or you could also use heart cookie cutters if you have them. So either one will work, and that's it. So go ahead and get those things out and then meet me back here and I'll go over the lesson with you. Thanks. All right, so I've got my piece of paper, I've got a cookie cutter, I've got my paper towel roll, or you can use a toilet paper roll, and I've got my crayons. You can also use paint for this. It's totally up to you. If you do have paint, the part where you are stamping would actually work best with the paint. But if you don't, I'll show you how to work around that. And this is kind of what we're making today. We're going to kind of make a background. So if you have paint, watercolor paints, you can kind of paint the background. And then we're going to stamp on our hearts. Okay? We're making something artists use so they can make many copies of one thing. So instead of having to draw hearts all around my paper, I can use a tool like my stamp or my cookie cutter to create that same shape and do it many, many times. Okay. Let's my shapes and the things that I'm printing be more unified, okay? Be more of the same. All right, so if I have my toilet paper roll, and this was a paper towel roll that I just cut down, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to kind of fold it. I'm gonna kind of push it together, and you might have to be a little gentle with it, but I'm gonna push it in here. I'm gonna push those together like so, and then I'm gonna kind of push it like this. So you can kind of see my heart there. And once I have that, I can kind of start making it more of a heart shape for me. So I just have to kind of bend one side down. I want this side to be curved, so I just have to work with it for a little bit to make it where I have my heart, my curved line and a curved line there. And then down here, you can keep it curved if you want to, or you can make it come to a point by just pressing it together. And parents, you may need to help just a little bit just to get their stampers ready. And so you have one side here, and you also have another side. So sometimes your other side doesn't look as good as your first side. So kind of check them both out and make sure you're using the side that you want to use. And so I'm gonna do that. And one of the things I'm gonna do once I'm done, and I've got my heart shapes on both sides, is I'm going to take a rubber band or masking tape, and I'm just going to tape it to that shape. And this way it won't, I can kind of set it how I want it to look. So I'm just going to make it how I want it. And then I'm going to kind of squeeze it with my hand, and then I wrap my tape around it. Now, one important part is you want all of this to be nice and flat. So because I cut this from a paper towel roll, I may have to come back and like run my scissors next to it and make sure that nothing is sticking out over the edge. So if it is, I'm going to take my scissors and just cut it straight so that it is all good to go. So I'm just cutting it straight. So nothing is sticking in, nothing is sticking out. I think this one is my better heart than this one. This one kind of goes down a little bit. So I'm going to use this side, okay? So before I use my stamp, I have to get my paper ready for my stamp. And this works best if you have watercolor paints. You can paint your whole background. And I just used a few colors. I used some pink, and I used some magenta, and I used some purple. And I just kind of mixed it all together. and had little spots of purple, little spots of pink, little spots of magenta and fuchsia. So you can choose how you want to make it. If you want it more rainbowy, you can put it more rainbow. It's however you want it. I'm just using a few colors. If I use too many colors, if I use all the colors like rainbow, it may mix together to make brown if I keep mixing and mixing. So I kind of wanted this to be more colorful, just more of a February feel to it. So that's why I use the purples and the magentas and the fuchsias and the pinks, okay? And they all mix together very well. All right, so if you don't have paint, you can do that same thing with your crayons. So you can just take it, you can take some purple, you can add some purple, and then I'm going to just take some red violet, maybe I do pink. Just going to use the same kind of feel for February, those pinks and purples, but again, you are the artist of your own work, so if you want to go in another direction, that is always fine too. So I'm going to go use this purple, and I'm just going to fill in the space until I have all my white filled in. I don't want to see any white spaces. So if you wanted to, you could make a big heart in the middle and then make another heart and another heart. You could actually make shapes out of it, or you can just make little zones of color. Okay, so now that I have everything filled in, if I have paint, I can dip my cookie cutter or my toilet paper roll in the paint and start stamping. If I don't, then I'm gonna have to, it's not quite printmaking, but you can take your cookie cutter and you can take some colors and you're gonna press down on that cookie cutter as you're tracing around it. Okay, so there's one heart. Now I can go back and I can make this really dark so it will stand out. I can even make it have a little bit of texture kind of going out from it. Just going back and forth. And then I'm going to get another one. Maybe I do a purple one this time. And if I'm using this as my template, I'll set it down. And there's my heart, and I'll just kind of go around it and make it bigger, like that. I do want to show you the painting, so hold up. Okay, so I just put my paints on a little plate or a little lid, really, and then I just kind of tap it. I don't put too much on it. I just want to cover that surface so that I can take my heart. This is the side I want to use, and I'm just going to dip it in. Dip it in a couple of times and I check it and make sure it's all white, and then I'm just going to come and I'm going to make some hearts around. Okay, and if I want to do other colors, I can do some other colors, but I can also do other sizes, so I don't have to pick the same size. If I have other things, I can kind of do tap 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 around, make sure it's all covered, and I can overlap my hearts. I don't have to just do one, but I can start printing all my hearts where I want them. So sometimes I want it a heart inside a heart, sometimes I want them kind of overlapping. It's totally up to you as the artist where you want to place your hearts, but kind of have more than just one heart on yours. It kind of looks much cooler if you have more than one heart. If you have glitter, I know some people don't like glitter, but if you have glitter, you can also go inside and add some glitter to your hearts if you'd like to. It just makes it a little bit more fun for Valentine's Day. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you had fun printing your shapes, your hearts today.